Hey, how's it going? I'm Cody Faulk, the director of Voorhees, and you are listening to The Movie Raid.
It's time for The Movie Raid, and tonight's victim is director Cody Faulk, Voorhees. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Fantastic, man. I know you're excited to get this movie out. I mean, it's been in the works, and it's been on hold due to the pandemic and all that stuff, which is coming out on Halloween of this year. So tell us a little bit about it that you don't want to give away too much of.
First of all, man, thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here, and yeah, we're fired up, man. I mean, it's been a long time in the making, and even before the pandemic, honestly, this was a challenge to get finished. Filmmaking in general is extremely tedious, but we did it. We're excited. 25 days as we do this interview from Halloween, and yeah, man, we're excited, man. We're stoked.
You got a follow-up trailer now, which is the most recent one. Can you tell us a little bit about this trailer, the involvement of what's actually happening, that you could give a little insight to the audience themselves?
We had a few trailers. I think our official trailer number 1 came out in November of 2018, and then this one is which I like to say is the Big Bang. I think this trailer is the final trailer, so we wanted to bump things up, of course, want to get people excited. And I think this is worth mentioning that the first 2 trailers, I do like them, but I do have this kind of hate for them as well, just because they were cut in a cheaper editing software. We didn't have a music composer at the time. They weren't sound mixed, color graded. Nevertheless, they did get people excited, and I was happy that people enjoyed them. But this trailer that just dropped, we wanted to get out and really show not only that we came a long way, but to show, hey, we came a long way, but this trailer here is what the movie's going to look like. And I think that's what this trailer did, and it doesn't give away too much. So I've been trying to tell people, is like, do you think this trailer is spoiler? You have not seen anything yet. The film has so much packed in it, man. It's super entertaining. A lot of action. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of gore. And there's just enough of Jason. It's not too much. You miss him at times, but then when you see him, you just, we wanted to pace him in a certain way. Picture him as Godzilla, as an example. Like, every time I wanted to see Jason on screen, your eyes were just glued. And every single scene that he's in, I think that we captured something that's going to be very memorable.
Now, this is like almost a modern-day age type of Friday the 13th, because some bad guys basically stumble on Jason's territory, and then they're not even aware of this. And how would you present this without making it look cheesy or something that may not be as believable, even though it's modern time? How does this give a reaction from your perspective view as a director of this?
We knew what type of movie we were making. It's a slasher film. We know there's been 12 of these movies. The basic formula is campy, cheesy, nudity, kills. That's what we know, and that's why we love these movies. So when we came to writing the script, we thought, we want to go back to the camp. We want to go back to where this all started, but let's bring some fresh, new people into this. What happens if these people committed a crime, they wanted to go hide out? Perfect place to hide. We do have some Friday the 13th formula in the film. Then, you have some characters that are more Friday that you would typically see in a Friday film. But for the most part, these characters are, yes, a lot darker, more sadistic. They have a plan. All they have to do is make it till morning, and obviously we know who's around the corner. And Jason is, in the Friday films, he's known for being a cockblock, right? In this film, he's a party crasher. For these guys, they have all this money, and I think this is also worth mentioning is I wanted to get rid of the cell phone. I hate the whole, we have no cell phone reception out here. I hate that in movies. I'm so tired of that. And I thought, if these guys committed a crime and they didn't want to be tracked by the police, they would get rid of their electronics. They don't want to be tracked. All they have to do is make it till morning. Camp Crystal Lake, in their minds, and they know this, is no longer on any more maps. The perfect place to hide. And that's why I love our synopsis. The synopsis really sums up the whole film. They committed the perfect crime. They planned for every possibility, but they never planned for him. I mean, we knew that we were taking some risk, right? But I think making any type of movie is, you have to take some risk. You have to take some chances. I mean, I was scared shitless. I was intimidated. I was neurotic about announcing the plot synopsis back in 2018. Didn't know how people were going to react to it, and boy, was I wrong. It was the complete opposite. I was glad, because as a fan, as myself, I was ready for something new, and when we announced it seemed like the rest of the franchise was, with open arms, was excited for something new as well. So that was great. It was awesome to hear.
What level of motivation should be allowed when formulating this kind of film, when it comes to the concept and the characterization itself, but still having that familiarity to it?
That's a good question, man. I wrote the script with executive producer Chris Pausch, and me and him kind of came together, and we wanted to do this, and we really based the characters off of a lot of films from the 70s, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Last Waltz on the Left, and of course we got into the 80s with Friday the 13th, and we thought we wanted the people to be bad. You wanted to hate these people. However, if you pay attention to the trailers, you do notice there are some innocent people involved. They do have hostages. So those are obviously the people you're going to cling on to. You want to sprinkle some of this Friday element, but I gotta be honest, I've said this before, Voorhees is more of a Jason film than it is a Friday the 13th film, and what I mean by that is acknowledge past films with Easter eggs. You're not even going to be able to catch them. You have to watch the movie. You have to be very careful and watch stuff in the background. We did really clever things. In the first trailer, there's a girl walking past a tombstone. You see Roy on there. Tried to tackle a lot of different Easter eggs and just pay homage to those films because we love them and we're making a Jason movie. But at the same time, we wanted to bring something original, you know? We wanted to write these original characters and just, it's dark versus darker, man. The best way I can sum it up. And it's a battle till sunrise. It's going to make it out.
Do you think that cross-judgment when it comes to mixing traditional and non-traditional methods more significant to the story itself or the actual film itself, or do you think it might be the opposite when it comes with the audience actually making their judgment about this?
I think it's all about taking chances, man. I mean, I think it's fun sometimes when you can take, in this case, Voorhees is a heist film, starts off as a heist film and rapidly turns into a horror movie. To me, that's fun as hell. Everybody loves a good heist movie, action, and we all love Jason. A lot of people love horror movies. It's fun. There's definitely some challenges, but you gotta roll with with your heart, man. You gotta roll with the passion. If you think you got an idea, you just gotta take it. Of course, not everybody's gonna like your movie. You gotta take some chances.
There are those fans that just stay in the past and just want their Jason exactly how they saw it. That made an impact for themselves, but as they see someone else making a fan film or fan films, they're not liking it. They just want to just trash it. They don't want to be open to it, and it's like a half and half. You got one audience that is all up for it, and you got the other half that is just kind of crude to it. It's like they're not open to the concept of what if or what can we do with this without actually manipulating what the Jason Voorhees character is really about.
Yeah, there's diehard fans out there who grew up watching these movies in the 80s. They admired these films, and I respect that, and so did I. I didn't grow up in the 80s, but I grew up watching these movies, and I think that even for diehard Friday fans, if you don't like this original story that we brought, there are still references to the past film. There's a lot of references, actually, from several different from the films. I mean, you'll see something really cool that I've never seen done in a Friday film that really pays homage to part one, that we do something really cool. So we tried to be very respectful. We also took some chances. Hopefully people like the chances that we took, but I think even diehard fans are going to appreciate the old school and new school that we brought to it.
Do you think that it's actually more manageable to give or even keep hidden any clarification to the audience themselves when it comes to either the Jason or the story itself, aside from the main cast that we might already know what's going to happen?
I think fans are going to dig it, man. I think they're going to dig what we brought. The characters are new, it's fresh, and, it's going to be a hit or miss. Now we hope people give it a chance. That's all I'm going to say. It's like, give it a chance. If you don't like it, hey, we completely understand. But at least give it a chance. I mean, that's the best way I can really answer that.
And when it comes to having the actors involved with this, and even though they might be familiar with the Friday the 13th franchise, but what the ones that aren't entirely familiar with it, especially having to act in it, what the kind of directorial, I mean, how would you actually manage that from an emotional point of view?
So some of the cast actually had a lot of knowledge about the past films, and some of them actually had no knowledge at all. And I got to be honest with you, it was actually kind of more fun directing the people who didn't know, because I got to really go in depth and explain. And some of the cast, in particular Jason, I made him go back and watch all of the movies to really prepare. And then some of the cast, I told them, hey, actually, you don't even need to watch a Friday film. I need you to watch blah, blah, blah. This is what your character's more like. So it was really a mixed bag with directing the cast and spitting out some certain knowledge. But it's a hard question to answer because there's one character in particular that we really went deep onto something from the first film that I think is going to blow fans' minds when they see it. But it was interesting. It was fun. It was fun directing the cast and talking about some of the Friday films. But again, some of the Easter eggs that we have in here, I didn't even have to explain that to the cast. They'd be like, why are you hanging this up in the background? I'd be like, you might not get it, but the fans will. So it was like situations like that. It was a very original story. So it was a lot of just, we're starting fresh. It's a fresh take. It was a fresh take on the franchise, and it was a fresh story with new characters.
Jason being obviously the star of this film, clearly, but having to work with the kind of movements, the emotions, and anything like that, especially in a news story, do you think that it was more of a challenge not to make it transparent compared to all the other Jasons from all the actual sequels? Was this more of a challenging, having to put all this effort and time with this particular character as opposed to the cast themselves, or did you have to actually try to work out an even balance between characterization on everybody, including Jason?
Yeah, Jason was definitely the highlight, right? He's the star. That's what everybody's there to see. That was the biggest challenge for me as a director, and not only directing, but cinematography-wise, was capturing him. We tried to do a lot of different versions with Jason. We tried some running. We did some test shoots with him running. We tried the Kane Hodder breathing and so forth, and just certain movements that Brooker would do or Ted White would do, and we would analyze the footage and say, well, would our Jason do that? Would he do this? Would he run? I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. This might actually be my first time ever mentioning this in an interview. I always pictured our Jason as an older Jason. But to go back to kind of your question, it was a challenge, man, because there's 12 of these movies, right? Everybody has their favorite Jasons. Everybody has their favorite movie. So we tried to sprinkle certain elements from, in particular, Jasons. Derek Mears and Kane Hodder was really our main two that we focused on. I felt like that our Jason was a combination of those two, and a little bit of CJ, and still a little bit of part 3 and part 4 as well. But Kane Hodder and Derek Mears was our main, a lot of research, body movements, head turns, etc. Everything that goes into creating Jason, also cinematography-wise. But that's a conversation that for another day.
Now, with this particular Jason, what do you think is more unique thing that this particular actor has given to this character? Everybody that has played Friday the 13th as Jason has always given something unique and something different to add to that character. What would you say this is an interesting and more unique to you, that this is something that no one has ever seen for Jason?
I think that's a good question, man. I think that our Jason brought a lot, actually. But the one thing that he did every single day was scare the shit out of you. And I'm talking out of the cast. He was the nicest guy in the world. The moment he put that mask on, he was Jason. And he never broke. And I don't know if he brought anything new. I feel like something the fans should pick up. I don't know if that's really my place to say that, oh, this our Jason brought all this stuff. I don't feel like I'm not the right person to answer that. But what I will say is I think that he is imposing and he's scary as hell in this. And I feel like when I was writing the script and when I wanted to do that, that's all I wanted to do was make Jason scary again. I wanted to feel like how I felt when I saw him in part 3 without the mirror, without his mask. I wanted to feel that again. And I felt that every single day on set with him. And he scared the shit out of us. And he's going to scare the shit out of you guys, too, when you see the movie. Trust me.
Go and plug in any websites related to Voorhees or yourself, and we can check out the trailers and everything related to this project, and of course the release.
Yeah, so we're pretty active on all of our social media platforms: Facebook, Voorhees group page. We have an Instagram, Wet Paint Pictures. I would highly recommend subscribing to the Wet Paint Pictures YouTube channel because you will get instant notification as soon as the film drops on Halloween night, October 31st. That's 2020, folks. It is coming out. We are only 25 days away. So subscribe, follow, and like I said earlier, just give the film a chance. That's all we ask. I appreciate you having me on, man.
And there you have it, everybody. That is director Cody Faulk.
Hey, guys. I appreciate it.